him, like everybody else on one of these days, you're going to be somebody. And sure enough, it was like the Cinderella story.
I'm made of metal, my circuit's clean.
As soon as he walked in the door, he felt right, even before he'd sung and afterwards. It's like, where's he been, Where's he been all our life?
Born in 1967, just 2 years before the band Judas Priest formed, Tim Owens grew up just down the road from Cleveland in the Kenmore section of Akron, Ohio. A former high school golfer who also sang in the school choir, Tim was in his freshman year when he discovered the band that would alter his destiny.
Screamer for Vengeance. I think it was 83 when my brother got it. I got an REO Speedwagon. My brother got Screamer for Vengeance, and took a look at him and said, well, I'm not quite sure. On the leather and stuff, and then just blew me away. From there on, I became a fanatic.
The whole bedroom was decorated totally Priest. There were posters all over the walls, the doors, the ceiling, the furniture.
Even Tim's senior yearbook noted that he preferred Judas Priest and listening to Rob Halford. But Tim did a lot more than just listen once he started frequenting the local heavy metal cover band scene.
He could always sing. Tim could always sing the songs, any of them. And he used to go out and check out a band, U.S. Metal, used to be a local band. And he'd hit the high notes. The singer would hand down the mic to him, he'd hit a high note. The singer was like, if you practice a song, I'll let you sing a song. And he practiced that song. I can't remember what it was. He got up there and sang it.
And so it wasn't long before Tim Owens himself was fronting a succession of Akron area heavy metal tribute bands.
He has this barrel chest, this like tenor singer, opera singer chest, and just so much power.
He made Crossroads a lot of money. He was there. He was there. The club made a lot of money.
But when Tim Owens left his cover band days behind in favor of the all-original Winter's Bane, money and bookings fell short. So the band cleverly took advantage of Tim's penchant for Priest and booked themselves around the country, much more profitably, as a Judas Priest tribute band called British Steel, with opening act Winter's Bane.
We would open up as ourselves, play an hour, then do 2 hours of Judas Priest. And I thought, sounds pretty good to me.
Tim dressed up as like a Rob Halford clone. He was the pre-show, basically. The rest of us just played the music.
Rob Halford was his man, so Tim knew that stuff inside and out. He could, and even when he moved like him, had all the moves down, everything. So he was Rob Halford as far as I'm concerned.
I could not believe how similar he sounded to Rob Halford. We had to go to the stage. We had to go look and see.
Julie Vito and her cousin Crystal Lentine were not only fans of British Steel, they were also friends with Judas Priest's drummer, Scott Travis. By 1996, though, British Steel was history. Tim Owens was now fronting an alt-rock cover band called Seattle. And Judas Priest was assembling in England to seek a replacement for Rob Halford, who in '92 had left the band. That's when Krista slipped Travis a British Steel video she'd shot back in '95.
In January of '96, the band flew me over to regroup and start running through some of the material that KK and Glenn had written, and I brought this videotape with me. Kind of reluctantly.
They weren't really looking for a Rob Halford clone, per se, for Judas Priest. If they were going to restart Judas Priest as a new band without Rob Halford, they were looking for new vocals.
At the last minute, Scott came over, put a video in front of us with Ripper on there. We couldn't believe it, I mean, we just couldn't believe what we were seeing.
It was just uncanny, the resemblance and of how good he was and capable of singing the classic Priest songs one after the other, I picked up the phone and I spoke to him and said, "Hey man, is that really you on the tape?" And he says, "That's really me, man." He said, "But is that really you?" I mean, I guess he couldn't believe Judas Priest was on the phone calling him at home from England, so.
Scott Travis, he's the drummer. The other American in the band said, they don't believe it's your voice on the videotape. They think it was dubbed in somehow, and this isn't really you singing. So here is Judas Priest not believing it's me. And I said, it's me. Just get me there and I'll show it.
He said, "Fly me over, sing any Priest song you want." And we did 2 days later.
So I walked in, they said, get some sleep, and we'll take care of everything tomorrow. And I looked at him, I said, no way. Crazy. How am I going to get sleep tonight when I'm going to audition for Judas Priest? I said, let's do it now. So it happened that fast, and they asked me what I wanted to sing. I said whatever's is hooked up there, and did Victim of Changes.
You realize you're growing old, and no one seems to care.
Honest to God, it was karaoke. I mean, I'm not lying. That's what it seemed like. They're in the control room right in front of me, and sang the first line of Victim of Changes.
Whiskey woman, don't you know that you are driving me insane?
And I hit the high note and Insane, and Glenn Tipton pushes the button, says, Owens, you got the gig.
Just singing that first line of Victim of Changes, we knew that, well, it just ratified that it was him genuinely on the tape singing that night in the club, so that's all we needed to know.
My parents picked me up at the airport, Cleveland Airport, and I gave my mom an autograph of Judas Priest. It was on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I signed it. I said, dreams do come true. I love you. And she, maybe someday, my mom said, maybe someday it'll happen. I said, no, Mom, I'm the singer.
She was reading his names on it. My mom started crying and all emotional. His life never be the same. He went from selling office supplies, to being on a world tour.
Sunday, February 15th, one of the original pioneers of metal, Judas Priest, returns to Cleveland to play the Agora Theater.
Timmy's coming home. We're here to see the Priest.
Oh, here from Jimmy Owens. Good to see a local boy made it good.
Tim being from Akron, and then Judas Priest is bad anyways. Rob did a good job, and hopefully we know Tim's going to do just as good a job, if not better. I believe better. That's my opinion.
Plus, Tim ain't gay.
Bloodstained hair, bloodstained tire, bloodstained what?
Being on tour is really the real super cool thing, because we've said so many things, obviously, about Ripper's ability, and people have heard the record that people are still a bit skeptical about. Yeah, but how does he sing? The classic Priest stuff from the 80s and the 70s, and that's what's the neat thing about being on the road is now, as we say in England, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean?
The guy's got moves and vocals and you name it, women, hair, everything. He's got a cool coat with the Ripper. Dude's got a jag. I mean, I think he's doing okay.
You get the Playboy channel on the satellite in the bus. That was the crowning moment of when I got in the bus. First I was happy because we got a satellite and it was a VCR and, sleeping quarters, and it was great. But when I saw the Playboy station, I thought this has got to be, heaven, because I have to pay for it at my house. You know what, the sad thing is I think my friends are getting more perks than I am. I have the guy from Seattle, the guitar player from Seattle, Dan Johnson, is now KK Downing's guitar tech. And the guy who replaced me as a singer in Seattle is now my roommate. I think he's getting laid because of me being a Judas Priest. I'm not saying that, I know. I'm joking, no. He is, I'm telling you.
I think it's nice that Tim's finally got rid of the myth that you can't get anywhere playing in a cover band. If he wouldn't have spent the last 20 years of his life, following Judas Priest and singing every note that Rob Halford ever sang, he wouldn't be in Judas Priest today.
Never turn your back on the Ripper.
He's the man for the job. There is nobody else on this planet that can do his job, and we're up again, and we wanted that, but the kids wanted that, and they've just shown it in the last few nights. It's very emotional, for us. It's just amazing.
Yo, Judas Priest with Ripper Owens out front. We'll be back for more U.S. tour dates this summer. Speaking of old bands with new singers, we'll be back with Van Halen, because they're back.